What shapes a person's destiny? Is it the circumstances they are born into, the choices they make, or the challenges they are forced to overcome? Sometimes it is all of these, woven together by fate and necessity. In Jack Weatherford's Genghis Khan and the Making of the Modern World, we meet a boy named Temujin before he became the legendary Genghis Khan. He was not born a conqueror, but a child facing unimaginable odds, shaped by the wild, unforgiving landscape of the Mongolian steppe. He was just a child, abandoned with his family on the harsh Mongolian plains after his father's death. With no tribe to protect them, Temujin, his mother, and his siblings were left to fend for themselves, surrounded by enemies and the constant threat of starvation. Hunger and cold were daily realities. Every scrap of food was precious. The family survived on roots, wild berries, and whatever small animals they could catch. Each day was a struggle, and every meal was a victory against the elements. One day, a single fish would spark a choice between two brothers, a choice that would echo through history. In a world where survival meant everything, even the smallest act could have enormous consequences, shaping the future in ways no one could predict. This is not just a story of ancient times, but a story about family, jealousy, and the hard decisions that define us. The bonds between siblings are tested, and the meaning of loyalty is questioned when survival is at stake. The story of Temujin begins with a simple question. What would you do to survive? In the face of adversity, would you choose compassion, or would you do whatever it takes to endure? The answer to that question would shape not only Temujin's destiny, but the fate of the world. Before he was Genghis Khan, Temujin was a boy fighting to survive. After his father's murder, his family was cast out, left with nothing. Temujin, his mother Holun, and his siblings faced hunger and bitter cold, learning to hunt and gather just to stay alive. Temujin's half-brother, Begter, was slightly older and claimed the role of leader. But Temujin, driven by a fierce sense of responsibility, felt he should lead. This rivalry grew quietly, fueled by hardship and the struggle for survival. Temujin's early pain became his strength and set the stage for a choice that would haunt him forever. Sometimes our greatest strengths are born from our deepest struggles. The trouble between Temujin and Begter began with small acts, tiny sparks that would eventually ignite a much larger fire. In the harsh Mongolian steppe, where every scrap of food mattered, even the smallest slight could grow into something dangerous. The two boys, once companions, found themselves drifting apart, their bond tested by hunger and pride. One day Temujin caught a fish, his family's meal, a rare prize in a world where survival was never guaranteed. He felt a surge of pride, knowing he could help his mother and siblings, if only for a day. But before Temujin could share his catch, Begter snatched it away without a word. It wasn't just the fish that was stolen, but Temujin's sense of accomplishment and hope. Another time, Temujin managed to hunt a small lark, a rare treat. Yet again, Begter claimed it as his own, ignoring Temujin's protests and the fairness that should have bound brothers together. For a starving family, these weren't just petty thefts. They were betrayals that cut deep. Every meal was a lifeline, and every loss was felt by all. Begter used his strength to take, not share, sowing resentment and bitterness in the hearts of his younger brothers. The balance of power in the family shifted, and Temujin felt powerless to stop it. Imagine working hard for something, only to have it snatched away by someone stronger. The injustice stings, especially when it comes from someone you should be able to trust. Temujin and his brother Khasar complained to their mother, Holun, hoping she would take their side. Holun, wise and weary, urged them to unite, not fight, reminding them that family was all they had. But the injustice festered, growing heavier with each passing day. For Temujin, Begter's shadow loomed larger than any outside enemy. Distrust crept in, poisoning the air between brothers who once played together on the open steppe. The seeds of anger and jealousy had been planted, watered by every slight and every stolen meal. Soon they would grow into something neither boy could control. Sometimes the greatest threats come not from distant enemies, but from within our own family. In the silence of the yurt, with hunger gnawing at their bellies, Temujin learned that betrayal by blood is the hardest wound to heal. Holand's pleas for unity went unheard. Temujin saw Begter's actions as a threat to their survival and future. He and Khasar decided to act, taking up their bows. Not for hunting, but for confrontation. They found Begter alone, cornered him, and made their intentions clear. Begter, realizing his fate, asked only that they spare their other brother. In that moment, the steppe became a place of judgment, not play. The line was drawn. Temujin would no longer accept Begter's dominance. Sometimes desperation turns brothers into rivals. With bows drawn, Temujin and Khasar faced their brother. In a moment of anger and pride, they released their arrows, killing Begter. The problem of stolen food was gone, but a deeper wound was opened. Their mother's grief was fierce. She called Temujin a destroyer, mourning the loss of unity. This act established Temujin's authority, but at a terrible cost. He had broken the sacred bond of family. The shadow of this choice would follow him for life. Sometimes the price of power is paid in regret. Temujin's ruthlessness would help him build an empire, but it began with a brother's blood. Leadership, he learned, can demand a heavy sacrifice. What makes a true leader? Is it the ability to command respect or the power to instill fear? Is it about standing alone or standing with others? Begter led by force, taking what he wanted. His leadership was marked by aggression and dominance. Temujin, in his anger, chose violence to solve the problem. His decisions were driven by immediate emotions rather than long-term vision. But is leadership about strength or about bringing people together? Is it about imposing your will or inspiring others to follow willingly? A real leader, like Holand urged, inspires unity and fairness, not fear. She believed in the power of compassion and understanding. The best leaders share credit, solve problems with wisdom, and make everyone feel valued. They understand that their strength lies in the collective power of their team. Temujin's tragedy was failing to learn this as a boy. He often felt isolated and misunderstood, which shaped his early approach to leadership. Later, as Genghis Khan, he built an empire on loyalty and harsh rules, perhaps remembering the cost of disunity. His leadership evolved, but the scars of his youth remained. The lesson true strength lies in cooperation, not domination. It's about building bridges, not walls. The hardest choices test our character and shape the world we create. Every decision a leader makes has a ripple effect on those they lead. Leadership is not about being the strongest, but about making others stronger. It's about lifting others up and guiding them to their full potential. Temujin's story is a mirror for us all. We've all felt jealousy, anger, and the urge to act out of pride. Our choices, big or small, define who we become. The lesson from Holand is timeless. Our real enemies are outside, not within our family. When we fight each other, we weaken ourselves. By standing together, we become stronger than we could ever be alone. So, what would you have done in Temujin's place? Would you choose anger or find the strength to forgive? Every day, in every choice, we decide what kind of person and what kind of leader we want to be.